Conscious Collaboration brings together entrepreneurs, change makers, and thought leaders. We aim to highlight the people that embody the idea of aligned mind, body, and business. Each week, we share, discuss, and learn from the various experiences and ideas of our guest experts. Through our discovery, we find a path to an aligned mind, body, and business.
Hi, I'm Lisa.
And I'm Emily, and we are the Conscious Collaboration Podcast. What up, Lisa?
Hey, how's it going? Are you all ready for your big trip this weekend?
Yep, it's going. Round 2. Heading up to Charlotte, actually, Monroe, North Carolina, to be specific. And we're going to give it another shot, give it another go at bikini competition. See if I can't bring home a pro card.
Yes, I'm so excited. I can't wait to see pictures and videos. And is there somewhere that I can watch? Is it on like the main competition page that I can watch?
They'll do a live stream. It's not free, but they'll do a live stream, and I'll be happy to post the link.
Okay, yay. Yeah.
If anybody wants to spend their Saturday watching a bodybuilding show. That's what we're doing. Yeah.
Excellent.
But I'll get some stage photography and whatnot. And so just doing all the peak week things. And so good. Bringing the carbohydrates back in over these few days. So my brain and my body are happy with that, and we'll be even happier tomorrow as they go up even more. But we're making it work for the time being. So yesterday in our session was where the inspiration kind of struck for today's topic. And so I think we were talking about just women getting into strength training, and, somehow we had gotten broadly on that topic. And I said, despite the state of social media and the obvious, the obvious negatives and the obvious toxicity that exists on social media, I think that it's actually partially to its credit, the rise of women who now strength train as a lifestyle. And from that, we kind of, got onto the topic of like, well, maybe social media isn't all bad. And what that's about, what that entails as far as how you can approach social media as a user, and be a discerning user and have it be a much more positive experience. And so today we're gonna kind of talk about the positives of social media and how we stay on that side of the fence as much as possible. Had you ever thought of it like that before?
Social media?
Where do you kind of land at baseline on that? Yeah.
On social media overall? Well, yeah, I mean, I think I've never been in a training program like I'm in with you my entire life, but I've always had fitness and some sort of strength training as part of my programming and all of that. And you and I were talking. I think the reason why this conversation came up is because you've been getting a lot of interviews with new clients and people coming in to join the gym, and whether they're, yoga or looking for guidance on nutrition or getting into the best shape that they can be. And a lot of the people in our circles are in their mid ages, and, a lot of them are entrepreneurs, parents, and super busy, and just kind of like can't get off the hamster wheel of life. And they're looking or getting misinformation that the secret is just simply, calorie restriction or excessive cardio. And without, I think in our worlds, and you've put me into being a follower of a lot of people that practice strength training, yoga, mindset, so on and so forth, all the things that you talk about in terms of nutrition and protein. You've hooked me onto that for the past couple years. But without the rise of this like wave of women who are recognizing that it's a game changer for us in terms of being efficient and healthy and really taking care of ourselves, it's kind of like a secret that wouldn't have gotten the attention if it weren't for social media and all the women that during the pandemic were like, what am I going to do? I can't get to the gym. And, much like your story in, doing in more intense strength training and realizing like, wow, this is such a game changer at this point in my life. On the flip side, I do, and we do, talk a lot about and see in social media a lot of the toxicity. There's the aspect of that where it's like mindless or misinformation or poorly used.
Sure.
But
And I think that's super important to talk about, to keep that awareness, to help ourselves from sort of falling into that trap. But I think it's also valuable to talk about, the way it could be used positively, because it really is. I mean, it can be a user designed experience to some degree.
exactly. It is because of the way the algorithms work.
Yeah, and of course the algorithm's going to show you stuff based
Yeah.
on what you're doing, but you also have the ability to unfollow people, or to
Exactly.
to follow
Yeah.
accounts that you find to feel good and feel positive or educational, um and things of that nature. So you definitely can control your experience a bit in that way. And then so there's the aspect of discernment as far
Mhm.
as like who and what kind of accounts you
Yeah.
interact with. And there's also the discernment with like what you're posting. And what I mean is like, we were kind of talking off air about like the Dear Diary kind of user who,
Yeah. Right.
will just post like whatever the details of
The
their life
drama,
are
like
at that moment, whether it's mundane as shit or whether it's dramatic as shit. Like, damn, are you okay? Like, why
right.
are you telling Facebook this and not like,
Yeah.
a therapist or whatever? So I think it's definitely in a lot of ways the responsibility of the user to steer their
Yeah.
experience to a more positive one if they're not having a
It's like
positive
what you get is what you feed it. It's like
one.
the whole it's like the nutrition, but for the
Mhm.
internet world, is and I love my feed. Like I was very resistant to social media until I was a business owner and I realized I had to have that visibility and I had to have that interaction because I work internationally and how would people find me in Australia if they didn't interact with me in some capacity, online and get to know me.
Mhm.
And so being, used to being a long time listener, like first time caller kind of thing. Before I was an entrepreneur, I always just kind of lurked, and I was real
Mhm.
resistant to sharing anything about myself, very, in a huge way, like very much locked down. But throughout the years, I think, as a business owner, I realized, there are ways like I love my feed. I love the people that I interact with. There are a lot of them. I've actually made meaningful relationships and gotten great information and improved my skill set and, gotten so many benefits from working um, and communicating virtually using social media. So I know it's like it can get a super bad rap and, we still recognize there is the negative, but if you choose, like you're saying, to really work with it as a tool and use it to maximize what you're bringing, it can be just like, so we did consult the I Ching before showing up, as we always do. And
Mhm.
there's so much potential in success in using a tool and using it in a positive manner.
Right. So social media in itself, let's like put this into perspective. Social media in itself, you can kind of compare it to something like money, right? Like it's it's neither good nor bad
Mhm.
inherently.
Right.
It's very neutral on its own. It's just a tool.
Yeah.
It depends on, the intention behind the person using the tool.
It's an exchange.
And exactly, and the direction that they choose to take it in. Now, does the algorithm, have an effect on how many people get to see that? Yeah, absolutely. And, certainly as a business owner, that can get frustrating
Mhm.
at times when you feel like, you're putting work into content and, not even like your elected that the audience who elects to follow you
Mhm.
seems like they don't get to see it sometimes. So that can definitely be frustrating, but also again, shifting back to that intention, like I think we also had a similar conversation to this the other day of like, rather than just basically quality over quantity, like rather than just
Exactly. Yeah.
focusing
Like,
on getting as many followers as possible or as many likes or whatever as possible and just hacking the algorithm in that way, like focusing on providing the best possible content so that the people whose attention you do have are engaged in your content. And especially as
yeah.
a business owner, people who are actually going to interact and at some point in the network purchase from you potentially. So I think it can be used really, really well for entrepreneurs in that way. If you take that focus off of just like, how high can I get these numbers, and
Mhm.
should I get fake followers and all this stuff, and take the focus to really, really providing value to the people who are
Yeah,
already
and
watching
showing
you.
up in the most like you that you can be. It's not,
Hmm.
I know that it's just not my style to do like the TikTok dancing trends or anything like that. You won't see me doing that maybe unless you and I do one together.
No.
I don't know. I just can't. But I mean, if you show up like as you truly if that is who you are, great. But if you show up as who you are truly to the core, then your people will recognize you and interact. And it doesn't mean that you're going to get, thousands or even 20 sometimes, but to there is that like sense of like that know, like, and trust if you're showing up and like you said, giving some value exchange. Um,
Yeah, I mean, think about the people that and the content that you consume. You can spot a mile away somebody who's posting from a place of authenticity and somebody who's posting from a place of like, I'm just
Mhm.
following a trend. And not that there's anything wrong with throwing in there and participating in a trend
Yeah,
here and there, but if that's kind of like all you're doing, then maybe that,
I think they're cute. It's to see the
well, we
trends and
share reels all day, every day.
yeah, there's
They're kind
certain
of our lifeblood, but
they're not professional though, most of them, but
right, right. No, they're not.
and my daughter can
But that's
appreciate a
another
good trend.
positive use of social media, I
Yeah.
think, is I mean,
Yeah.
not the just scrolling for hours and hours and hours and blowing off your responsibilities. That's not probably a good idea,
Right.
but like,
Selectively.
sometimes like just scrolling through and getting a bunch of good like for real LOLs on
Right.
some mindless humor is just absolutely soul filling.
Yeah. I mean, I think It's not something, in terms of consumption, it's not something that anyone should sit on all day long. I think, when you feel called to show up in social media and you really have something meaningful to say, is the best time versus just doing
Mhm.
it like, well, it's on my calendar to show up for an hour today. Um, there's a difference in how that's received too. I think you can feel when someone is doing something reluctantly or communicating reluctantly or just
Mhm.
a canned response just to feed the machine. I think hopefully those days are, dwindling a little bit more.
I think it's a great platform for like bite-sized education. Again, it's something you have to be really discerning with as a user, just because, it is such a like public platform, like anybody can put content on there. And you've got political dynamics and everything else, flying around. So you really have to know, you have to have a sense
Yeah.
for what's authentic and what's not, for sure. But with that, you can get some really, really good education in a format that like suits our sort of Western, like
Yeah.
zero attention span,
Yes,
zero time having,
exactly.
but if you follow the right accounts, I mean, as convoluted and saturated and full of garbage as the fitness space is, for example, on social media, there be a lot of gold in them hills too. I
Mhm.
would not have known who Brett Contreras is, or probably really even gotten into weightlifting in the manner that I have, if it weren't
Mhm.
for the way all of that educational material was presented on social media. He's one of the best I've ever seen about this, who just has like uh really incredible free resources
Mhm.
all over the internet, who then all those free resources incline me, at least, and lots of other people, I presume, to then purchase from him
Mhm. Yeah.
more and more and more. So I think it's a great space for education, and just to kind of like, I've got, I think, even at least in part, you sort of came in this way, but just posting like in my stories, like kind of candids of
Mhm.
what we're doing, little clips of different clients lifting weights and myself and stuff like that. Like I've gotten a lot of activity and engagement and some clients
Mhm.
just from kind of that, format of being able to showcase what we're doing in real
Mhm.
life.
Exactly. Yeah, it's hard to demonstrate in like bite-sized short clips what it is exactly you do in strength training, what a good same with me in feng shui or any aspect of that too. It's good to have that like visual, and I think from that too, it's a space for people to ask questions and to interact, and so it's that relationship building that starts from demonstration.
Yeah, and it humanizes you a little
Mhm.
bit, you know?
Yeah. We are
Doesn't
humans.
show us having fun and stuff. We aren't humans. Don't get it twisted.
I don't know.
We're
I keep
aliens.
failing a CAPTCHA, so I'm pretty sure I might be a robot. But
Ooh.
yeah, there's this CAPTCHA that
Was
I
it
cannot
like the
pass.
stoplights?
It's like how many, yeah, click on all the stoplights, click on all the fire hydrants. I'm pretty sure I know what these are at 45 years old, but it's not
Yeah.
trusting me as a
Those
human.
those
So
can go those can go in the pile with polygraph tests.
yes, so much
Bad
fun.
test.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I
Or we're just
feel,
robots. Mhm.
or we might be robots, and that would
Yes.
be fun to find out one day.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I
The
mean,
the AI portraits that we did this time last year did an amazing job of
oh,
like
yeah.
predicting my delt development
Mhm.
for this time of year. So maybe
That's
there's
right.
something to it.
I still
Mhm.
haven't gotten that third arm that mine predicted.
Oh, I had a couple of third arms. Yeah. weird
They made it look so
deformities and
graceful.
stuff.
It was the most beautiful
And I was like,
deformed extra
wow, you're
arm.
pretty, but that's fucking weird.
How many fingers do you really have?
Right. AI
Yeah.
is
I
funny.
mean,
Did
it's
you see the duck hunt one? Did I send you that one?
yes, yes.
Remember the original Nintendo Duck Hunt from the 90s? It's like
And he's got
AI
like a
doesn't either.
rifle at the TV.
It's
Yeah.
like they're sitting there with a real rifle and they're like smoking cigarettes.
That's funny. That's close. Close. Because
Close. So
that's what
close.
AI would think about the 80s. And
Mhm.
yeah, not too far off, but yeah. Yeah, I mean, you have
Yeah.
to be discerning on both sides, like what you're, especially with AI too, and creating the fake material and using real people. That's confusing. But overall, I think um, the information that I take the time to receive and exchange in social media on the platforms that I use is like, oh, it's just, it's a good part of the routine and a way to expand and have a larger reach with people and information and resources. And I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and it's just one of these things too, I think like it's just a reflection of real life in certain ways. In
Mhm.
certain ways, it's not a reflection of reality at all. But in
Yeah.
certain ways, it's a reflection of real life. And what I mean by that is that, like, if you are a person in real life who cares about self development and
Mhm.
personal growth and real relationships and those sort of things, then I think just by caring for yourself in that way, in a real way, you're going to automatically set yourself up to have more positive interactions and a more positive overall experience
Mhm.
with using social media versus if you are a person in real life who
Yeah, you
is
show up with a
not
lot
worried
of
about self-development, is in
mhm.
victim mode or what, all the plethora
Drama
of sort of just
seeking.
like not working on yourself, seeking
Yeah.
external validation. Okay, that's like
Mhm.
a straight machine for that if that's kind of your thing. So basically a part of having this positive experience with social media is taking care of yourself
Mhm.
and developing yourself and worrying about your own personal growth, just as we always recommend that you do in real life.
Mhm.
Because you'll be able to show up more authentically, you'll be able to brush off any, if you're a person who does end up garnering a fair amount of attention on social media. With that inevitably comes the trolling or like the insults, especially in the fitness space. If you're a woman lifting weights or whatever, even if you're like drop dead gorgeous, like you'll see you'll see all these like, oh, you're a man and blah blah blah. I mean, you're gonna deal, if you're in the
Mhm.
public eye like that, you're gonna deal with some just vile shit coming
Mhm.
from behind people's keyboards. So you have to be in a place with yourself to where that is not going to phase you and where that's not going to affect your self-worth and everything else.
Yeah.
um
I mean, I think to a degree, I was talking about this with Rachel Weaver the other day. We were meeting. So you can scroll back and listen to Rachel Weaver in one of our episodes
mm,
talking about human design and where we are in our businesses. And, we talked about that, like trolls exactly. And it's like, once you get to the place that you're getting trolls, then
you've made it. Yeah, that's
you've
right.
made it. Yeah. So I
Hmm.
mean it's just
But
really
you got to be ready for that. You got to be
you gotta be
okay with
ready.
that.
Yeah, you gotta be
Yes.
prepared. You gotta be ready to navigate it.
Yes, you have
Sometimes
to
in a
be
very
okay with the negatives
public
and
way.
understand that
Yeah.
the negatives like aren't real.
Right. Yeah,
you
it comes
know
comes with the
it's
territory. You're not gonna get that
it's
playing small.
Yeah, it's definitely a line. I don't know if you're finding this with Ainsley yet, but it's definitely a line to tread conversationally with our daughters. Now, like Olivia doesn't have, her own social media accounts or anything like that, but she does love to go through and watch YouTube shorts. She's really into astrology right now, which is cute. She'll come she'll be watching stuff and then she'll come in and tell me like what she just learned about Virgos or whatever. It's super cute. But, I'm finding myself constantly kind of cycling through like okay, for entertainment purposes only, this isn't real, and just kind of having that exchange with her to make sure that she can verbalize back to me like that this is, that's the phrase I like to use. This is entertainment only.
Yeah,
This
exactly.
doesn't mean anything. Having a lot of likes or a lot of following on social media is just an electronic tally. She's like, okay, she says she's pretty wise. She seems to get it, but with all the because that I think is where it's become arguably the most toxic in the younger girls who, as we're already set up from the time we're born, basically, with a lot of toxic structure. So the social media can definitely fuel that in a dangerous way. I don't remember what the statistic is, but I remember seeing something very disturbing on that the Social Dilemma docudrama or documentary or whatever about young girls and suicide.
Right. Yeah.
So, I think you always have to maintain an awareness, especially if you're a parent, of the toxic aspects of social media. But, maybe by sharing the positive things with them as well, because, we both have talks with our daughters about business and stuff like that. Then we can go ahead and set them up for, because social media is not going anywhere, right?
Right.
Like it's here, so we might as well figure out how to harness it for the greatest good, and that definitely includes like preparing our kids for the potentials of what what it could be in a positive sense and in a negative sense, and just giving them the
Use it
best
for success and not for
starting
drama.
point. Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean,
Right.
I do have those conversations in my house with both Ainsley and Benjamin, and they both say it to me too. Like sometimes, I'll be, what are you watching? And I'll say, is that scary? Or, ask them questions and they'll say, no, mom, that's pretend. It's, it's,
Mm-hmm.
they'll explain like everything I've explained to them. So I feel they are developing an awareness, whereas I think we kind of like were plunged into a lot of this social media, where our generations, trying to, we created it.
Mm-hmm.
What it is from MySpace to Facebook to YouTube to
MySpace.
I know. I saw like a really funny meme about like, do you remember back in the early 2000s when we could all code to create our
Right.
MySpace pages?
Yeah. We
And
all
like no one
magically knew like
taught us, but
HTML.
we could do it. And
Yes.
yeah, we did that. I mean, but yeah, so it was one iteration before and now it's this and it'll be something different again. But just having that awareness of who you allow in your virtual circle is just as important as what we always
Mm-hmm.
talk about in our, reality in a friend
Mm-hmm.
circles and the interactions that you have with friends, family, and colleagues. But there's like you always say, you can quiet people from your feed if they're bothering you. You don't have to make a big drama scene about it.
Unfollow on Facebook is a godsend.
Right. Exactly.
They don't know that you
No harm, no foul. Just unfollow.
don't want to look at them, but
Mhm.
I don't want to look at them.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think
Like,
too, just
okay.
like, having some some sort of like check-in with, can you trust your following that you have to share information?
Right. Well, just that self-awareness. And if you find yourself scrolling and having like low vibration, negative feelings, then you got to just catch yourself in that moment. See, examine what it is about what's happening that's making you feel that way, and then stop. Are you comparing? Are you, just taking on other people's negativity? There's a lot of ways to,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll have to keep that in mind. Yeah.
It's just that self-awareness. We kind of find that in like all of our topics as a way to like, all right, how do we make sure we're not in the mud? And it's just that self-awareness. Check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Yes. And we have none of that inside of the Conscious Collaboration Collective.
Nothing.
Which I just happen to really I love our group. I love the people that are in it. Some people found us, I don't know how they found us in random ways, through the podcast or throughout, the circle.
Social media,
but it's the exact right people that need to be there. It's all positive. Everyone's very encouraging of one another. That too, that's another realm in social media that I use a lot for my business and personal life are groups. And
yep.
It's really, beneficial in a way to like redirect your energy to focus on specific projects or group, things that you can collaborate around in groups. Educational things can be groups. You have your different medias for the different aspects of your clients and the studio and strength training and so on and so forth. But I mean, that's a whole, I think awareness, like you said, is key. I think the biggest breaking the barrier for me was I hired coaches to teach me all the social media things. Like, why do I have this resistance? Why am I so triggered? How can I grow and improve versus like always having this resistance to social media that I know I need. And once I got the coaches, I'm like, oh, I got this. Like, the biggest way to overcome a barrier is through education and training and doing. And, I think that's, something that I think if anyone's interested in that, they can safely ask us questions inside of the Conscious Collaboration Collective in ways that I can help them personally with their business and with their lifestyle. But it's been nothing but great for you and me. We're highly entertained, highly informed, and it brought a lot of us information that we needed for our experience to create who we are today.
Amen.
Well, what do you say we give it a wrap and continue the conversation if everyone desires?
What do you say, champ?
Let's do it. Come join us inside of the Conscious Collaboration Collective on Facebook. And you can hit us up on Instagram. You can send us an email, follow the links provided in the description. And we love everybody that comes and checks us out. In the next episode, we are going to be talking about the other side of your competition. Hooray!
Word, yeah.
Word.
All right.
So stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Emily.
All right, Lisa.
Talk to you in 5.
Bye, friends.
Bye.
Thank y'all so much for listening to our podcast. If you haven't yet, please be sure to subscribe, rate, review, and share with all your friends so they can join our circle of collaboration on this journey. You can find us on Instagram at Conscious Collaboration Podcast, on Spotify, iTunes, and Audible, to name a few. Please join us next time for another deep dive into how you can live life in more alignment, mind, body, and business. Send us your questions and comments in our DMs or email us at consciouscollaborationpodcast@gmail.com. See you in 5 minutes.